Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the first video,
where we'll be teaching you the basics of the microbit.
So this is a microbit. It's basically a small computer that you can program. You can make it display things, react to buttons, respond to movement, etc.
Now we'll play this short video that shows you some of the many creative projects you'll be able to build after these videos and through further exploration. These are just some of the many creations people have built using a microbit. And on a broader scale, the same sensors and logic used in all these projects are used in all different mechanisms, like elevators or the automatic doors at your grocery store. Same concept. Your phone counting your steps, that's literally one of the first things you'll build.
Every app like TikTok, every smart device, every piece of technology you interact with started with someone who learned exactly what you're about to learn. How to think logically, break a problem apart, and build something that works. Now we're going to get started and get creative.
Check your group of materials and pull out a microbit. Start feeling around it. You'll notice some buttons you can press. You'll notice some ridges and bumps that feel a little bit scratchy. Think about what they might be.
Now we're going to go through what these parts of the microbits are and what they're used for. First of all, there's the LED display. See these 25 tiny lights on the microbit? These are LEDs. You've already seen LEDs your whole life. You know the scoreboard at a sports game? Those massive displays are made up of thousands of them. We're starting with a 5x5 grid. They started the same way.
Next, there's buttons A and B. You can press them to control your program, so you can code your microbit to do things when you press either A or B.
Next are the pins. Do you see the 0, 1, 2, 3 voltage ground? Those gold circles at the bottom? They're used to connect wires, sensors, or lights. This lets the microbit interact with the real world.
Next are the sensors. If you take a look at the back of the microbit, you'll see these, and it can detect movement, shake, tilt. It can sense temperature, and it knows direction. It's kind of like a compass, and you'll be able to do certain actions with it. So, for example, if I shake the microbit, it'll do a certain action. Take out your group of materials, and you should have in front of you one microbit, a micro USB cable, a USB to USB-C adapter if your laptop does not take USB, and then your laptop, of course.
All right, so now that you have your materials, here are the instructions. You're first going to plug the micro USB cable into the microbit. The second step is to plug the end of the cable into the USB to USB-C adapter. The third step is to plug the adapter into your computer, whichever computer you have, MacBook, Chromebook, Windows. And the fourth step is to make sure the microbit lights on. This means that it has successfully connected.
Now, we'll be using MakeCode to actually code the microbit. This is Microsoft's coding website for microbit. So go on to the MakeCode website. Then the next step is to click Login. So you're going to click Sign In on the top right corner, and you're going to sign in using any email of your choice. The third step is to create a project. So you're going to be doing that by clicking the New Project button and naming it Name Tag, because that'll be the name of your first activity.
And then this is when you pair your device. Click the 3 dots next to the download button and click Connect Device. Then a series of steps will pop up on your screen. Make sure to follow those steps until it has successfully connected. All right, now on to the activities. You'll be working through 2 activities today. First, you'll create a name display. You'll be able to display your names on the 25 LEDs on your microbit and add any emojis or little pictures that you want as well. So here's an example of what you can create. So here's an example of a name tag that you can create. Of course, you can change it to whatever you want, whatever name you want, whatever letters you want, but this is an example of what you can create. Now download handout 1 for the first lesson and complete the handout. Alright, now that you have what you need, give yourself about 10 minutes starting now to complete the first activity, and we'll check in after that. Alright, now that you've completed your first activity, you've completed your first run-through of working with the microbit. Yay! Now you'll use that same logic you just used to create your own creative animation. Now you're going to use that logic you just used to create your own creative animation.
Here's an example of one that we built. It's supposed to resemble a beating heart that gets smaller then larger, and in between each beating heart, it plays a new melody. We also worked with the pause block. So this time, you will not only be using the LED blocks, but you'll be incorporating pause to create time in between the different images that you create, and music to add sound throughout the entire animation.
Now in this handout, the code is for the beating heart. Of course, this animation is creative, so design your animation to however your heart desires and make it resemble what you want.
Give yourself about 10 minutes starting now. We'll check in after. And remember, be as creative as possible. Amazing job! You've now created your second animation using Microbit. Good job!
Next time, you're going to start using sensors to build even more fun projects, like a step counter. So get excited!